This is the parable of the two breads. Welcome to Tim's Challenge. Unleavened versus leavened. Now, you may recognize this. This is matzah. It's unleavened bread. And because it was cooked without leaven, it's incredibly skinny and crisp like a cracker. This is the symbol for conservatives. Now, if you add an ingredient called leavening, in this case, yeast, it makes the dough rise and get fat and spongy and squishy. One's not right and the other wrong. We need both. We need conservatives in our society and liberals in our society. I like to think of liberalism as the yeast of our society. When I was 11 years old, I asked my dad, what's the difference between liberals and conservatives? He was a very smart man. And he said, well, we're called conservatives because we like to conserve. We don't necessarily like a lot of change. And he said, we have a reputation. We conservatives have a reputation for not wanting change. That's not really true. We do welcome change, but only if you give us common sense, solid reasons for change. We don't like change just for the sake of change. Liberals, on the other hand, the leavening of our society, says, let's go, let's make some changes. Hey, there's no telling what we could do if we try. And the conservatives say, okay, you may have a great idea, but let's be careful here. Let's be methodical. Let's make sure we're going in the right direction. And so back in the day, see, liberals and conservatives had basically the same values. The sanctity of life, the sanctity of our liberty, the sanctity of pursuing your own dreams instead of being boxed in to whatever group somebody might want to put you in. That's called Marxism, by the way. And of course, the sanctity of private property instead of socialism and communism. Since liberals and conservatives both embrace the same values, basically, they could sit down at a table and hash out and have a genial discussion and hash out their differences and come to mutually acceptable solutions to problems. Because they basically had the same values. You see, one's not right and one's not and the other wrong. I happen to like unleavened bread. I like matzah. Put some tuna salad on that thing. Delicious. Many times, however, I'm in the mood for leavened bread. One's not right and the other wrong, just like liberalism and conservatives, one's not right and the other wrong. We need both in society. One to say, hey, let's try something, and the other to say, hey, okay, that's fine. Let's make sure we're doing the right thing first. Does that make sense? Which way do you lean? Liberal or conservative? Both are pretty cool. So, problem is, we don't have that anymore. Now, conservatives, we haven't gone anywhere. We're still the same. You know, we've conserved everything. Unfortunately, liberals have devolved into left-wing extremism. We hardly have true liberalism anymore in this country. All the liberals have drifted so far to the left that all we have left is left-wing extremism. It's the furthest thing from liberalism you can imagine. Do you think Joe Biden is a liberal? Do you think Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are liberals? AOC is a liberal? They're the furthest thing from liberalism. They're far left extremists. You see, because there could be a mutually coming together if we shared the same values, but we don't share the same values anymore. And so we have a vast gulf between the two parties. The Republicans primarily hanging on to the conservatism, not always, but most of the time. And the Democrats have devolved into far left extremism. Can't talk anymore. For instance, if you're a Democrat and you come to me and you say, Tim, I want to talk to your grandchildren about choosing another gender from what they are. I want to go into your schools, into their kids' schools, and groom your kids about sexual matters. That's what the Democrat Party wants. That's what we think we need. See, there's no way you're going to convince me of that. You can talk to me all day. I'm never going to be convinced of the Democrats' agenda. You'll never convince me of perinatal abortion. It's not going to happen. You'll never convince me that we need to not have any border security. It's just not going to happen. There's no more discussion. It's gone. Now, let's wrap this up. The thing about it is, we must teach our young people the parable of the two breads. Choose one, liberal or conservative. That does not mean left-wing extremism. Choose one or the other, but not the extreme position. We cannot leave this to chance. We can't say to the children, oh, we'll wait until you're 13, 15, 16 years old, and then just see what happens. See which end of this political spectrum you land on. We can't wait. We can't wait for that eventuality. So, teach our children while they're impressionable. This is Tim's challenge for this time. Later.